hamstring sliders. Put your right knee down on a pillow and the left foot on something that can slide on the ground. And we're going to start with some strength training. Slide out, push your heel into the ground and pull back. Using your hamstring, you're going to pull backwards. So slide out, pull backwards. Okay? Slide out, relax, push your heel into the ground, pull backwards and curl your knee in. Okay? Slide out, push into the ground, curl in. Just some light strength training on the hamstring. Now we're going to start in this position and you're going to push your heel into the ground as you slide out. So we're going to contract the hamstring as we lengthen the hamstring. So push your left heel into the ground, tighten the hamstring muscle, and slide out. And then hold. You can bend forward to stretch the hamstring more. You can be upright, but your weight is all forward. Okay? So I just held for 10 to 15 seconds on that one. Next we're going to do the same motion, but I'm going to rotate my kneeling knee down so I can get at an angle, so I can get the lateral hamstring. First we're going forward, get the center of the hamstring. Same thing. You're going to relax on your way out, push your heel into the ground, pull back up with that hamstring. Pull your body back up with the hamstring. This time curl your knee. Push down into the ground with your heel up and curl your knee in. Okay? Now we'll go into the stretch. So push your heel into the ground, contract the hamstring, and slide out. Keep your weight forward on this forward knee. Push into the ground with your heel and tense the hamstring as tight as you can. And hold there. Then forward for more of a stretch. Okay. Now the last one, we're going to just go straight into the stretch. We're doing the same motion as we did when we were sliding straight forward, except our foot is going to point towards the outside of our body, so the lateral side. Point out, you'll get the outside part of your hamstring. So balance and push your heel into the ground, go straight into the stretch and lengthen. You'll go out as far as you can and maintain contraction in the hamstring. If you can't contract in your hamstring during the stretch, then reduce your range of motion. You can bend forward and up too. All right. So we'll do the same thing on the other side. I'll try to do this at a different angle, just so you can see what's going on at a different angle here. Left knee down. We're going to do some strength training first. So weight forward, relax as you move out, and then push your heel into the ground, pull your body forward. I feel it in that hamstring the whole time. Same thing, relax as you go out, push into the ground and up. Keeping your weight on this right leg the whole time. Relax as you go out, and then as you come up, curl. Relax as you go out, up and curl. This is considered strength training because we are contracting the muscle as we shorten it. Now we're going to move into the eccentric or the stretch, and you're going to push down into the ground, just like we did last time on the other side, as you go into the stretch, and then hold. You can adjust your torso, keep your back straight, but adjust your torso. I'm pushing into the ground the whole time. All right, back up. Now we'll need to rotate so we can get a lateral movement. You're not going straight out to the side, you're kind of going at a 45-degree angle. So We'll relax out, weight forward, push into the ground, and pull yourself up. We'll just do one more strength training. Relax forward, push heel into the ground, and curl as you come up. Now we'll go into the stretch. So what we'll do is push into the ground, weight forward, slide forward, and hold, contract. Again, your range of motion is as far as you can, as long as you can continue to contract the muscle with full force. Move your torso forward and back to stretch that hamstring more. Feel everything in your hamstring. All right, so lastly, we're going to do the lateral side of our hamstrings. So you're just going to rotate that front foot forward. So you get the nice 45-degree bend in your front knee. Put the weight forward, slide right into the stretch, and push that heel into the ground. Contract that hamstring. Get the stretch you need. Keep the contraction going. You should feel on the outside of your hamstring. Okay, the next hamstring stretch, do the standing stretch, the forward bends. All we're going to do, the motion is, we're going to start with our knees bent, and we're going to stretch by pushing our knees straight and raising our rear, keeping your back straight and your torso straight. So this is the motion, okay? The resistance is, we're going to contract our hamstrings, try to kick our feet backwards, into the ground and backwards. So we're going to do 5 reps with some different variations. So you'll start just about chest width apart with your feet pointed straight ahead. So get your bend and contract your hamstrings. You can see the movement in my body when I start to contract the hamstring. Contract, try to push my feet backwards, and then I'm going to straighten my knee. That's 1. Same thing, contract and straighten. 2. So you might be up here, depending on the flexibility of your hamstrings. You could be down lower, but your back has to stay straight. You cannot arch your back or the stretch will not stay in your hamstrings. Feeling everything in your hamstrings. That's 2 reps. Contract and straighten. 3. Contract. 4. On the last one, we're going to hold at the end of our range. Your range is as far as you can go and maintain contraction. So contract and hold for 10 seconds. Okay. We're going to do the same motions, but this time we're going to point our feet. All I'm doing is pointing now in at 45 degrees as opposed to straight ahead. All right, so I'm pointing at 45 degrees. My feet are pointing inward. Same motion. Now my knees are going to bend in instead of straight. But we're going to bend. We're going to contract those hamstrings. Push your feet out and back and into the ground. And then straighten. That's 1. Same thing. Contract. And up. 2. Contract. 3. Contract. 4. Contract and lengthen the hamstring. Last one we're going to hold for 10 seconds. Keep contracting. Okay. The next series, we're going to point our feet outwards. All right, so we did our first set straight ahead, second set pigeon-toed, and next we're going to point outwards. All right, that's the orientation of my feet. Likewise, your knees are going to bend that way too. So you're going to bend out, you're going to contract, and pull your feet in, and straighten. That's 1. Contract and straighten. 2. Contract. 3. Contract and up. 4. Contract. Last one we'll hold. Contract, hold. All right. Now we're going to do a wide stance. So you're going to get a little bit wider than shoulder width. We're going to do a combination of hamstrings and adductors. So your inner thighs on this stretch. This will be the last part of our hamstring. So the motion is same thing. Feet are pointed straight. All the motion is we're going to do this. Okay? From the side, that looks like this. Down, and you're just going to straighten those knees. Keep your back straight. So you should feel the stretch in your hamstrings. Okay? So I'm just going to stay on my mat here at this angle, but you're going to contract. You're going to contract the hamstrings and push your feet backwards. So contract, put your feet backwards, keep your back straight, straighten the knees. That's one. You should feel that all the way up your hamstrings. It's a little bit into your adductors, not much. Again, 2, contract while you lengthen. Squat down, contract, and lengthen. 3, contract and lengthen. 4, last one we'll hold for 10 seconds. Contract and lengthen. And hold. Hold that contraction. Squeeze in and push back. Now we're going to go straight into an adductor stretch. Okay? So we're going to do our hamstring stretch. And right as we come to the top here, we're not going to hold. We're going to go straight into a lateral squat, essentially. But we're going to stretch the adductor. And you're going to straighten the right knee and drop to the ground as best you can, whatever your range allows you to do. Then after we do this side, we will come to the middle and go to the right side. Okay? Stretching the adductor. The goal is to do the hamstring stretch. Again, we'll go lean to the left and stretch the adductor, and then to the right, stretch the adductor. As we're doing the adductor stretches, as we go this way, we're going to push the right foot into the ground, straighten that knee, and move your hips to stretch the adductor as deep as you can. Okay? So let's jump into it. We'll do 5 sets of these also. As we go to each side of the adductor, we'll hold for 8 seconds. So, squat down, contract the hamstrings, stretch the hamstring up, squeeze together, go down, straighten the right knee, push into the ground as you hold for 8. Come back up to the center, go to slide to the right, push your left foot into the ground, feel the adductor tense up, and hold for 8. Okay, that is 1 rep. We'll do four more of those. Same motion. Squat down, contract your hamstrings, straighten your knees. Squeeze together. We're going to move to the right first. Keep squeezing together the whole time. Move to the right, squeeze. Feel that adductor. I'm dropping a little bit lower this time. Okay. Continue to squeeze. Move to the left. Straighten that right knee. Push into the ground. So right now, my adductors are already burning. We're just two reps already. So as you're going to the side, you should be feeling that adductor pull and have it tense at the same time. We're going to do the hamstring and then start to the left now. So squat down, contract the hamstrings, straighten the knees. Feel that in the back stretch. Now go to your left, push your right knee leg into the ground with your right knee straight. Come back to center, squeeze, move to the right, push your left foot into the ground. Feel the adductor stretch as deep as you need to. Go down as deep as long as you can maintain the contraction. As soon as you go to your range and you can't keep pushing into the ground, that's the end of your range for the stretch currently. So, same thing. We'll start the right this time. Got 2 more sets, 2 more reps. Contract the hamstrings, lengthen, squeeze together to the right, Drop down to your range and squeeze. Back to the middle. Now you're squeezing the whole time together, all the way down. You're squeezing to stretch that adductor. Straighten that right knee. Rotate the hips to get more stretch and to deepen the adductor. Okay? We'll do one more set. I feel this stretch as I go deeper. Get deeper, deeper, deeper into my groin. Very good stretch for that area. So, again, squat. We're going to start to the right this time. Contract your hamstrings and lengthen. Squeeze together and go to the left. Push into the ground with this foot. Alright. Now we'll go to the right. Push into the ground with your left foot. And squeeze your feet together. Alright, that ends the hamstrings. Move into the glute series. So, let's start on our right side. We're going to do some strength training first, along with some eccentrics mixed together, and we'll finish with the pigeon pose. So, we're just going to do some clamshells, so you'll press up against resistance, relax going back down. I'm pressing my hand this way, my knee that way, feeling the burn in the glutes. So we're just going to do 3 here. 3. Now stop at the top and press into your hand and resist this way with your knee as your hand overcomes your force. Okay? Now this time we're going to straighten the leg halfway in between, just to hit a different part of the glute. Same thing, I'm resisting this way the whole time I'm going down. This time straighten the leg completely. Alright. Now we'll do some straight leg raises. So put your body in alignment right side. Put your left foot forward just slightly, and you're going to raise and you're going to raise it backwards just a little bit. We're going to do 10 of those. You feel it in your glutes. It's left glute. Good, slow, solid motion, okay? Now roll back on your back. We're going to do the crescent kick. So the motion will be, you want to spread your left arm out, your right arm will be used for resistance. But you're going to start in this position, and the motion will be coming across your body, using your glute. A little bit of a bend in the knee the whole time. So the concentric motion will be pulling, my hand's going to pull this way, my glute's going to force my leg to go this way. So we'll do 1, like that. As I'm resisting, I'm pulling this way with my hand. Pull against the motion. 2 and 3. Stop at the top. Resist and hold nice symmetric, and then overcome your resistance. Push this way with your knee. Pull down with your arm. On. We'll do 3 of these. 2. 1 more. Resist hard. Use that glute and hold at the end. All right. So, the last one we'll do is just an eccentric stretch with the modified pigeon. You can do this stretch in this exact motion. All you're going to do is you're going to lower your torso to the ground, really your chest to your knee. And what you're going to do is push your knee into the ground as you're going down. Okay? You want to progress to where the back leg can be straight. You can also have your back leg straight and lean away. Let's see if I can turn towards the camera. So here. So you do want to progress to where you can be all the way up on your on your front knees, just straight in a line. But if you can't, you can lean to the side depending on your flexibility. You can also put a pillow under this front knee if you need to. But when I first started, my hips were rotated, so I had to have a pillow under that front knee. So what you want to do is you want to push down with your back leg, foot into the ground, push your front knee into the ground, and then just lower it all the way down. So one, we're going to do 5 of these. Push into the ground and lower. 2. Push into the ground. 3. Push your knee in the ground. 4. Keep your torso and back straight. 5, and your last one, you can rotate and move around some. Just hit all parts of that glute. All right. So that was a series there, all around the left glute. So now we'll do the same series on the other side. So you'll be on your left side, and I'll just do it this direction so you can see the opposite side. But essentially we're just going to be opening up, resisting with this hand. So we're going to first do push the knee up and your hand against, creating resistance against your knee. That's the concentric movement. We're shortening the glute muscle while it's under tension. One more. At the top, stop and hold, and force your knee down. This is the eccentric. Push your knee this way, push harder with your arm. Halfway through, you want to straighten that knee to about 45 to get a different part of that glute. Same thing, we'll straighten the knee completely this time. Come down, straighten that knee, and hold. Resisting the whole time. Okay? Now we're going to do the crescent movement with the left leg. So again, the movement will be, the knee will come across your torso, across your chest, your stomach area. So start in the fully stretched position, and you're going to resist. You're going to strength train, shorten that glute muscle. We'll do 3 of those. Providing resistance with my left hand at my knee. At the top, press and hold, create resistance, hold it, and then overcome it. That resistance with your hand. Stretch the glute as it's under tension. Again, 2. You can also turn that knee up as you go down to make sure you get a different part of that glute. So, the last exercise we'll do for the glute is this right side pigeon. Again, you can be in the modified pigeon if you need to. If you need to lean to the right to take some of the stretch out of the glute, that's a good place to start also. But get into the position, push this knee directly into the ground, torso straight, and lower. 1, knee into the ground. 2, feel that, I can feel it directly in my glute. 3, 2 more, push in the ground. 4, last one. 5. We've worked our backside, the hamstrings, and then the glutes. Now we're going to start with our quads. Work our way up our body to the adductors, then hip flexors, and then finish with the abs. So for this one, you'll need a chair. I'm using this one on wheels right now, probably not the best to use, but something stationary, a sofa would work, anything to put your knee up on. And something to stabilize you. I like to use my foam roller on the front side, but you're going to start with your right foot in the chair, and you're going to drop down onto your knee cushion, your pillow, whatever that may be. So the motion we're going to do is we're just going to be lunging forward, okay? And as I do this, I can feel my glute stretch. As I come up, it's stretched. As I go out, it's shortening, okay? So again, this is the fully stretched state. You want to rotate your hips forward, so the bottom of your hips would rotate forward, kind of suck your belly in, rotate the bottom of your hips forward. That'll create that stretch in the quad. So do that rotation, push into the chair, and lean forward. Strength training. We'll do 4 of those. Stretch forward, 2. Strength forward. Push into the chair, 3. 1 more. Rotate hips forward, push into the chair, 5. Now when you get out to the end, we're going to hold, make your torso in a straight line. And what we're going to do is we're going to push into the chair and push into the chair as we lengthen that quad muscle, okay? So this is what I've got this for, so I can push my body against. I can use my front knee also to push against. But you gotta have something because you're pushing into that chair as hard as you can with this quad. So lengthen forward, push into the chair, keep that resistance and push up, stick your chest out, rotate your hips forward. Forgot to mention I hold for 5 seconds. I try to take 5 seconds coming up, hold for 5 seconds at the top. So that was 1. Push into the chair, come up, and then hold or rotate those hips forward. You should feel a burning sensation, I mean not a burning, but tension and tightness and contraction in this front quad. That was 2. So lean forward, torso straight, push into the chair and up. That's 3. All right, push into the chair, rotate up, keep your hips rotated forward. That's 4. Push into the chair, rotate hips, push back as you resist. Okay, that's 5. All right, so your quad is on fire. My quad is currently just burning right now. Now we'll go to the opposite side. Left knee in the chair, left foot in the chair, and your left knee in the pillow. And we're going to do the exact same motion, okay? So start up tall, contract, push forward into the chair. Tall, push forward, contract that quad. Start up tall, push forward into the chair. 1 more. Tall, rotate your hips forward, push forward. All right, now stay at the extension, rotate the hips, torso in a line, push into the chair, push into the chair the whole time you're moving back, and then hold. Rotate the hips forward. Okay? Come forward to your shortened position, straighten the hips out, push into the chair, and come back, lengthen that quad. Rotate the hips forward and hold. Come forward and stretch position, push into the chair, rotate the hips, come back, keep your chest tall, rotate the hips forward. Your hips should be rotated forward the whole time. At the end, we're rotating a little forward just to create a little additional stretch. We're at 2 more reps. Push into the chair, push back, lengthen that quad, pushing the whole time. 1 more rep. Push into the chair and lengthen. All right. So that's the quads. Move into the adductors, and we're going to focus on those. I also do, when I do the adductors, I also move into the hamstring, like a combination movement into the hamstring, just because those muscles really are tied together directly along the inside of your leg there. So we're going to start with a sumo squat, and your feet are going to be a little bit wider than shoulder width apart. They are going to be pointed out slightly. And what we're going to do is a motion of a sumo squat where your knees are squatting outwards, but the whole time we're going to pull our feet in towards each other. Push them into the ground, and pull them towards each other as hard as you can. And you should feel the adductor right here in your groin pull and begin to stretch. So squeeze the feet together and then lower. I'm trying to take about 5 to 8 seconds to lower. I'm not doing a fast movement. Squeeze together and lower. All right, try to keep your torso tall. As we go down on this third one, I'm going to slide my hands down my legs and push my knees out and try to pull my knees in together so that resistance at the same time as I'm going down. All right, so squeeze the adductors and drop. As soon as your hands get down, you're going to push. We'll do 2 more of those. Squeeze, drop down, push, continue to drop. Okay? Now we're going to drop low as we can this time, and you'll see I'll put my elbows onto my knees. So squeeze, drop, hands on knees, push, and then get down and put your elbows into your knees and push. Okay. Now we're going to do similar to what we did last time on our adductors, where we do a lateral lunge and we'll drop, stretch the adductor. As we hold that for 8 seconds, we'll turn and do a hamstring stretch right after that on each leg. We're only going to do 4 reps of these. This can get your heart rate up for sure. So feet pointed straight ahead, a little bit wider than shoulder width. We're squeezing together this direction the whole time, and your foot on the leg that you're making straight is pushing into the ground, okay? So start in a bent stance, squeeze your feet together, go to the left, straighten your right knee, and push into the ground with your foot. Hold for 8, rotate that hip on that foot onto its heel, and push the heel into the ground. Now I'm feeling that in my adductor this way, and as I'm rotating, it's kind of going back to my leg a little bit, and I actually felt a pop. A light, not a painful pop, but something moving as I rotated that foot up and moved into the hamstring. That's always a good sign. All right, so the other side. Squeeze and lower down. Hold, push into the ground. I rotate the heel up, push into the ground. And you can also bring your hand forward. So again, that stretch is down to make the hamstring longer and forward. Either way, either option will work. As you go down to the ground, it will get the higher part of your hamstring up towards your glute. As you lean forward, it's going to get more of the middle part of your hamstring. Both ways are good. Play around with both. So we'll do 3 more reps. We're going to start to the right this time. Squeeze together, move to the right, push into the ground, hold for 8 seconds as you're pushing in the ground, rotate up, hold for 8. The whole time I'm pushing into the ground with that foot that's out to the left. Rotate up. Okay, that's 2. We'll do 2 more of these. You should be breathing pretty hard. Squeeze together, rotate to the left first this time, and down. Straighten that knee and into the ground. Rotate. This time I'm going to move my heel forward a little bit. Not a lot, just a little bit. And then just a different angle on my hamstring. When I move my foot forward, I'm basically putting my heel where my toes were. Slight different angle to get a different part of that hamstring. So squeeze again to the right and into the ground. This foot into the ground. Knee straight, feel it in that adductor. Move your heel to where your toe is, push into the ground. Okay. Last rep. Squeeze together, move to the right, push into the ground as hard as you can. Remember your range is as far as you can contract. Foot forward, into the ground. You can also change the angle of that heel of the foot in the air also. Get a different part of the hamstring. A lot of different movements here. Squeeze, go to the left, push into the ground. This is our last rep. Work hard, push hard. Heel to where your toes are and push into the ground. Okay. Last exercise for the adductors. Adductors are very important. Lots of tension in adductors. All right. Start on your kneeling pad. And essentially what we're going to do is we're going to go laterally. We're just going to do a lateral stretch in this adductor as we pull our knee towards the foot. Okay? So I'm not straight ahead. I'm not at 45. A little bit past 45. The angle, just play with the angle to hit your inner thigh, your adductor. So squeeze, knee towards your foot, foot towards your knee. Your weight is not forward like we were doing on the hamstring stretch. Your weight is back on your kneeling knee. So squeeze, weight back, lengthen forward to about 25% and hold. Now we're going to lengthen to about 25% of your range. Squeeze, lengthen. Keep your torso tall. You don't want to be bending forward. On this last one, put your elbow up in the air to keep your torso straight. The line of fascia on this side is going to be stretched straight. You're going to squeeze and then lean into the adductor. Now you should feel it in your abs just a little bit. If I bend up more, I feel it more in my abs. Okay. Now switch to the other side. Your right knee down. Again, we're going to be going out at the angle that hits that adductor. All right, so you're going to squeeze and stretch out to 25%. If you don't know what your range is, just go slightly. Remember, your weight is back on your kneeling knee. Don't want your weight forward. Squeeze, go out to about 50%. I'm holding for about 8 to 10 seconds, each one of these. The last one, elbow up in the air, and you're going to squeeze and lengthen that adductor. Straighten the torso, keep squeezing. Okay, that ends the adductors. Move into the hip flexors. We're going to do standing hip flexors, kneeling hip flexors, and then end with the sliding splits. So again, we've worked quad on the front side, quads, adductors. Now we're working up the hip flexors. Next will be abs, and lower abs, TBA. All right, so we're going to get in a kind of like you're about to do a forward lunge, if you would. Your weight is going to be on your back leg though, not your forward leg. Okay, and as you straighten and rotate those hips, you should be able to feel it pull in the hip flexor for the foot that's back. We're starting with our right foot back. Your back foot's going to be up on its toes. Okay, so as you sit tall, rotate those hips, bottom of your hips forward, top of your hips backwards, suck the belly in. Okay, and we're going to squeeze. Just squeeze this way. All right, we're just holding there and squeeze. All right, now we're going to relax, drop down into a lunge, squeeze, come up. That's our concentric, because we're dropping down. We'll do one more drop down or lengthening that hip flexor, squeeze it, shorten the hip flexor. Okay, now we'll go into the stretch. We're going to squeeze the top and then drop down. We're going to do 5 total. 2 of them will be normal like this. 3, we'll put our elbow up to get a more stretch along that chain. So rotate your hips forward, squeeze backwards and forward, and drop. I'm taking between 5 to 8 seconds to drop every time, all right? So back up, squeeze, feel the tension in the hip flexor and drop. Pull, suck your stomach in. The next 3, put your elbow in the air, all right? Gonna make our whole chain on this side to be long. Stretch the hip flexor a lot. So you're gonna rotate the hips forward, squeeze and drop. Stretch the elbow high in the air. All right, 2 more of those. Rotate hips forward, squeeze, drop, elbow in the air. Okay, I'll rotate forward a little so you can see the different angle. Last one, rotate the hips, squeeze, and drop. Okay, my front hip flexors are feeling it a little bit in the quads too. Now, left leg back, right leg forward. We're going to do the same sequence, okay? So rotate your hips forward and squeeze. Chest tall. You should feel it already in your hip flexor. Just feel that, get used to feeling that muscle become tense so you know you're working on the right muscle. All right, so we're going to drop down, relax, drop down, squeeze, and up. Weight on your back leg. Rotate the hips, down, squeeze, and up. That's our concentric. We're going to move into the eccentric stretch now. Rotate your hips forward, squeeze, and lower. Suck your belly in. One more like that. Rotate hips forward, squeeze, squeezing this way, and dropping. Okay? I'll show it this way too. The next 3, we're going to do it with our elbow in the air. You're going to squeeze this way, front foot backwards, back foot forward, squeeze, elbow in the air, and drop. You'll see me arching my back some. If you're able to do that, fine. If your lower back is hurting you, don't attempt that. But it just gives a little more extra stretch into your abs and your upper hip flexor. So squeeze, elbow in the air and drop. Rotate the hips. All the time we're keeping our hips rotated forward, not like this. Rotate the hips forward, squeeze, elbow in the air and drop. Okay, into the kneeling hip flexors. So, right knee down. We're going to start just straight ahead. We're going to go straight ahead motion. The motion is just forward lunge. Okay, we're just going to do a straight forward lunge. Of course, we're going to be contracting. We're going to go straight into the movement. We're going to do 3 for each one. All right, I want you to put your elbow in the air. Lengthen this chain right here from your armpit down to your knee. And you're going to squeeze. And then go out to 25% of your range. Hold for 10 seconds. Now, forgot to mention, pushing that back knee forward, front foot backwards. That's creating the tension, the contraction in your hip flexor. All right, so hips forward, squeeze, knee forward, foot backwards, lunge as you're squeezing out to 50%. Okay, last one, we're going to go out to 75%. Again, your range is as far as you can contract. Whenever you cannot contract fully anymore, that's where you'll stop, back up a little bit, and hold there. So hips forward, squeeze, go out. Put that elbow up in the air, rotate the hips forward. You should, as you put that elbow in the air, you'll feel it coming to your lower abs. All right, we'll be doing the same thing now on the left side. Okay, so elbow in the air, rotate the hips forward, contract, and lengthen to 25%. Contraction means resistance each way. All right, I'm already feeling that in this abs on this side, okay? So again, knee forward, front foot backwards. Contract, rotate, lengthen to 50%. That elbow high in the air as you're contracting, all right? Contract, rotate the hips, suck your belly button in, lean forward. All right. Well, I forgot to do one on this side. Let's go back and do that. For each series, as you do straight ahead, the next one you'll go out to 45 degrees. So let's jump back and do that, and we'll come back and do the other one. Should really do them one after each other, but just messed up there. So now you're going to contract, pull your knee towards your foot towards your knee. Now we're contracting at an angle. Elbow in the air, and you're going to stretch it to 25%. Contract hard. Same thing, rotate hips forwards, contract, go to 50. Last one, contract, rotate hips. I'm really feeling this, my lower abs here, because of the elbow going up. All right, now let's finish on this side. Same thing, out at about 45 degrees, roughly, maybe a little less than 45 degrees, but left elbow in the air. You're going to squeeze this way, knee towards foot, foot towards knee. Rotate your hips forward, suck your belly button in, elbow up. Go out, hold that tension. All right, same thing. Rotate the hips, squeeze out to 50. Okay. Last one. Rotate the hips, squeeze, and out. Okay. Next we'll move to the sliding splits. So you're going to need a slider, something to balance on, unless you've got great balance. We'll start with our right knee down, and it's going to be similar to our hamstring exercise, where the motion is going to be us just sliding that foot forward, directly forward, is all I'm doing. The difference is now our weight is going to be back. On the hamstring exercise, our weight was forward. We're still going to be contracting, so we're going to, our back foot is going to be just placed down, pointed straight, and you're going to be pulling your knee forward to your foot, and your front foot backwards towards your knee. I've got this just to hold my balance. I'll try to keep it out of the way. But so as we go out, so you're gonna rotate your hips, tuck your belly in, and then contract. Push your back foot into the ground as you lengthen. You'll feel it in your hip flexor. Sit tall and squeeze and hold. Hold for 10. Okay. So you don't have to do a long motion on this to get that stretch in the hip flexor. When I first started, it was just a few inches. I was maybe moving, but I could still contract. So same thing, back foot onto the ground. To help you slide forward, you're going to push your back foot into the ground. All right. So rotate your hips forward, squeeze, push your back foot into the ground, get that stretch and squeeze. My front foot, you'll see it even moving backwards some because I'm squeezing so hard. Okay, so now I'm going to move my balancer to the other side. Another option is, if you don't have something to balance like this, if I were to have a bed right here or a sofa on this side along, I could go alongside, and my knee that's down will be by the sofa or the bed. I can hold on to the sofa or bed and actually use the sofa or bed to pull me forward as I'm contracting. The tricky part is being able to slide forward as you're pushing this knee forward to contract. So if you're having difficulties, try using a bed or a sofa that you can grab a hold to with your hand. Contract this back knee and just physically pull yourself with your upper body. I did do that for a few weeks when I first started. So try that if you're having difficulty with this. I like to have this bouncer on this side because now, just like we did with the other hip flexors, we're going to point this elbow in the air. Same motion. Rotate the hips, back foot into the ground, and we're going to slide forward and squeeze. Stick that elbow in the air, get more stretch. Now, when you get to 10 seconds here like I am now, I'm going to, this back foot, I'm going to just push it into the ground and stay there. And hold. All right, you might have noticed my body lift up some. It's because I'm taking this back foot and I'm pushing it into the ground to create, just create more tension in that hip flexor as I'm in the stretch position, right? Pull more knots out. Okay, elbow in the air, last one. Rotate the hips, push forward with your back foot and contract. So after 10 seconds, push the back foot into the ground. Lift that elbow high in the air. Okay, now we'll just do one exercise of this one. But what you can do is same motion, but same exact stretch, just at an angle as opposed to straight ahead. Hit a different part of that hip flexor. So back foot, push it into the ground. And now you're going to squeeze your bottom knee towards your foot towards the knee. Just like we did kneeling. Put your elbow in the air. All right. That's a great stretch too. You can do multiple of those if you'd like. So now we'll do the same thing. Left knee down. Right knee on the slider. And you got your balancer. Okay? So push that front foot into the ground and resist. Push this front knee forward, rotate the hips, contract, and lengthen. Get that stretch in that hip flexor. Sit tall with your chest. Okay. Same thing, rotate the hips forward, suck the belly in, contract, push your back foot into the ground and slide forward, squeeze. Okay. Now I'm going to balance to the other side. Again, this just adds additional tension to the fascia line along this side of the body. But you're going to put your elbow in the air to lengthen that whole chain. Press into the ground, lengthen and squeeze. After 10 seconds, you're going to push your back foot into the ground. Keep those hips rotated forward. All right. Well, again, when I say rotate forward, I mean the bottom forward, sucking your belly in, okay? Elbow in the air, push down, and your back foot, stretch it out, squeeze. Elbow high, keep squeezing. 10 seconds. Back foot into the ground, keep pushing the ground the whole time. After that 10 seconds, for another 10 seconds. Okay. And lastly, we'll do this just one rep at a diagonal angle, hit a different part of that hip flexor. So again, now you're going to squeeze these towards each other, front foot towards your knee, knee towards your front foot. Squeeze them, squeeze together. You'll feel it in this adductor and your hip flexor. Put the elbow in the air and squeeze. And feel it move a little bit higher into your lower abs. All right. So the last exercise we'll do for the hip flexors and adductor area is just a simple one. You can even do this seated in a chair if you'd like, but put your left leg forward, cross your right leg over your left, and the motion we're going to be doing is just, we're going to go up and down with this knee here, okay? First, we're going to strength train this hip flexor area, so push down with my hand on my knee and pull up. Feel that hip flexor work. We're going to do 3 of those. 2, 1 more. 3, okay? Now, start at the top position because we were shortening that hip flexor. Start at the top, push against your knee, and resist down the whole time. I'm resisting with my knee up this way. That was 1. We're going to do 3 of these. 2, 3. Okay. Now, you're going to use your other hand to push against your knee, and you can rotate your torso just to get more of a stretch in that hip flexor. So, knee up, resist the whole time and push. All right, I'm going to hold for 5 seconds at the bottom. Resist, push down. Even at the bottom of my range, I'm pulling up with that knee the whole time. Okay, push, resist. Okay. All right, last set of reps for the hip flexors. Hip flexors are worn out by now. You can tell just by the way I'm sitting. See how my hip flexor is allowing that right knee to go down significantly more. And this is my normal range for my left knee. So I've been working on that. Sure, you've got imbalances too, but this is something we're working on all the time. So push that knee down a little bit and resist against it. And strength train up. That's the concentric movement. 3 of those. 1 more. Okay. Stay at the top. Resist. And down. 1. Resist the whole time. 2, 1 more. 3. Now we're going to rotate our torso. Use our left hand to push against. And you can always rotate and move your torso to get more of a stretch in the hip flexor. But push, resist, hold for 5. So I'm feeling it more on this side. It's where I'm tighter. I'm working on that flexibility. So push and resist. Push and resist and hold. Pull that knee up. Okay, that is worked up the back side, hamstrings to glutes. We come to the front side, quads, adductors, hip flexors. Now we need to finish with our abs. Abs are really, really important for all the conditions. I'm not going to go through all of my reps. I'm going to show you what I do, and you choose the reps that work best for you. That would just take too long to go. Right? It would be quite boring too. So first we're going to do some strength training of the abs, some concentric movements. I'll show you what those are and how many I do. But first we're going to do the ankle touches. So you're going to be just a normal sit-up position. You're going to raise your shoulder blades off the ground, and you're going to reach and tap your ankles in this motion, okay? Alright, so I'm typically doing it about this speed, alright, and I'm doing 40 of touching an ankle. So 1, 2, 3, 4, going up to 40. Then I'll go straight into, I call these just sky punches, but what you're going to do is raise your shoulder blades off the ground and punch across your body. Okay, about that motion and speed. Okay, I'm doing 20 of those, 20 total punches. And then straight after that, I'm going just into a traditional crunch. All right, so your feet are off the ground and you extend back and up. Okay, I'm doing 20 of those. All right, I'm sure you can find some videos of how to accurately do those, but the intent is to work on the concentric movement, the strength training for your abs, okay? Another great one that I'll do most of the time is the 8-point plank Tabata. I can provide you a link to the video, but essentially what you're doing is you're getting down into a plank position and you're contracting your muscles, making the upper part of your body wide and pulling your belly button in, and you're just contracting that. And there's a couple good videos that show doing it in a Tabata format where you'll hold for 20 seconds, rest for 10. It's great for strengthening your TVA, your lower abs, and it's pretty tough too. So you want to fatigue those muscles first, concentrically, and then you'll move into the ab carver, which is our eccentric movement of the exercises. So I specifically like to use the ab carver just because it's got a spring in it that allows you to focus on the eccentric movement, but any ab will actually work. What I'm doing first is just some motions where I'm actually focusing on the pullback, which is the concentric. The eccentric is the extending out. The concentric is coming back. So you'll just come out, relax and squeeze and come in, and I'll just do 10 of these, okay? Just do 10 traditional just to get those muscles engaged, all right? And then I'll do 20 of eccentric motions. I'll do 2 sets of 20 eccentrics. When I do the eccentrics, I'm going to contract my abs and lengthen, and then try to relax as much as I can coming up. I don't want to use my muscles coming up. I want to contract as I go down, try to relax coming up, okay? You're going to use some muscle coming up, but you really want to focus contraction down and up. Now as you do these, you can either point your head down like this, or you can point your head forward. Right, I like to mix mine up, do about half and half. The next motion I'll do is I'll do a set of 10 where I'll go out at an angle, okay? See if I'll turn towards the camera. So every motion I've been doing so far has been just straight ahead. But we also want to get some lateral movement. So instead of pointing straight, just turn slightly and go at an angle. Focus on the eccentric down, then rotate the other way. Eccentric down, I'll do 10 of those. Just like that. And the next motion I'll do is I'll go out after 10 of those. I'll do 10 where I'm going straight ahead, and towards the end I'll give a little turn, a kick out to each direction, right? Alright, so what that does is allows you to lengthen. You're contracting all the way down, and then you're going to lengthen that one side at the very end, okay? And then to finish out, so I'll do 10 of those also. Then to finish out, you'll contract and do a Cobra. So you're not going out to your full extension, but you'll contract and look up into the air, look up into the sky with your ceiling, and contract and stretch those lower abs, okay? Now, be very careful with this ab carver. A lot of people have reported that their shoulders get injured, that creates issues elsewhere in their backs. You gotta watch some videos, learn a technique, but it's very effective